I have to fly this thing?
Squall, it's trying to talk.
I never understood what happened to the crew. Are they like dead or eaten? Abandoned?
Yes, eaten,
Volume?
devoured.
I just sent you a link.
This is SR Air Station.
It's
It's amazing.
Ragnarok, do you read? Ragnarok, do you read?
radio signal.
Yes, and posted on the.
This is Air Station, do you copy?
Probably you guys might have seen it already. I think it's the He-Man, hey, what's going on video.
I have no obligation to post something just because.
The ship is the Ragnarok?
Well, you need to post it because I said it. Because I said it.
Is this
You
really
have
the
a channel,
Ragnarok?
why don't you
You're in
post it?
space, right?
Because I'm lazy.
Yeah, but I have no idea where we are.
Ragnarok.
Roger that, we can track it from here.
Yes, Ragnarok is
Can go
a
home?
concept in Norse mythology that's basically the end of the world, like the final battle
Can we make it
between the
back?
gods.
You know, I actually.
Leave it to us. You should have enough fuel.
Well, no, it's
Get to your
also a
location
common
in
name
atmospheric
for
region program,
something
and you'll
or
be
other
okay.
in most Final Fantasy games. It's
Once
usually
you're
the
in
name of like a
atmosphere, we can
sword or
patch you down.
something.
You'll be just fine.
How do I enter the data?
117, 55, 56, 57.
No sweat, we'll take this step by step. Are you in the pilot seat?
Norse mythology. I absolutely love Norse mythology.
There's too many seats here.
What I absolutely love most about it, or
It's the one on the right. Go sit there.
is that you can really see the big difference in cultures by, like, comparing the Norse concept of Valhalla to like the various other.
Okay, I'm here.
especially the
See the panel in front of you?
Christian and Islam ideas of heaven,
Yeah, I see it.
where heaven is basically a peaceful.
The rest
place.
is easy. Just enter the following data.
Whereas in Valhalla,
Go ahead.
it's only for like the warriors that died
W,
in battle,
J,
and it's
H,
basically
E,
an
I,
eternal
E.
battle where
Entered.
you don't die, but you just
Then
keep fighting for the rest
2872
of the time.
HD-IVU.
A good time,
Entered.
something like that.
No errors?
Like in 13.
It's fine.
At the beginning.
I haven't played
Next, I'm sure you're okay, but there's something I need you to do.
Valhalla. A sort of version of Valhalla.
Turn off the gravity generator.
Colin,
This
it
should
reminds
save
me
some
what in the one English class I took in
Use the main
college,
touch panel
we
to turn it
talked
off.
about. This was one we were talking about. It
All
was
right.
on the Lord of the Rings and His Dark
This must be
Materials, those two series of books.
Yeah.
And when we were on
Done.
talking about the Lord of the Rings, and especially the
Congratulations, you're home
Rohan,
free, Ragnarok.
the Rohan people are based on Beowulf,
And there's one more
basically,
thing we need to tell you.
and
Beowulf.
From all of us
on
at Ground
the
Control,
whole
we
Danish.
wish you Godspeed.
I guess it's not the same as Norse, but
Thanks.
somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, I mean, the Lord of the Rings was largely inspired and fairly based on the
Hey!
ring cycle, which was in turn based on Norse or Danish or whatever mythology.
I did not know that the Ring Cycle and the Lord of the Rings had that much to do with each other.
Well, yeah, I think
Go sit
the
over there.
beginning
Put your
part
seatbelt on.
was Like basically they largely begin the same way and they follow a very similar structure. Wagner in the Ring Cycle, that's where his concept of leitmotifs was originally created.
Hopefully.
And those are heavily used in the Lord of the Rings.
Now go
Well, they're
sit
heavily
down.
used in a lot of movies.
Just a little
Yeah, but
longer.
it was originally part of Wagner's Ring Cycle.
In case you guys don't know what we're
Why are you
in case you
holding on
guys
to me
don't
like
know what
this?
we're talking about, a leitmotif is like a short musical sequence that represents something.
Just not used to it.
How about when you were little? Didn't you feel safe and secure being held by your parents?
I can't remember anything about my parents.
Anyway, since
But
I don't have the sound,
Alone
on,
was there
I
for
can't
me.
say exactly when the song
Alone
started,
was there to
but this
hold my
song
hand.
became rather famous in Japan.
Made you feel safe
I think
and
it
secure?
actually hit the top of the
Sure.
top charts for a little while.
But she left. Just disappeared. I'm afraid.
Well, we can all have our own opinions.
Afraid of
Anyway,
having
the
that
singer's
feeling
name-
of comfort taken away.
You were afraid of losing us? Is
I
that
don't
why you
think
kept
anyone
your
heard of it
distance?
in the U.S. other than people that.
I was always alone.
Squall,
Yeah,
you missed
It's
out on
called-
all the good things in life.
there is popular in the US.
It's called Eyes on Me. The name of the singer is Fei Wong. She's Chinese.
Maybe.
But I think she,
Definitely.
if for being a native Chinese speaker, she sings in
I
English
like
pretty
it like
well.
this.
You do realize your mother's...
I liked having my mom hold me.
No, what I mean is,
My dad, too, back when we got along.
it's not like ever...
I'm not your mom.
It's on CD, it reached the top of any charts or...
No, of course not. But now, Squall, you're the one who gives me the most comfort.
But that doesn't...
Comfort and happiness.
You know what I mean.
what it do?
And annoyance and disappointment, too.
I actually think this scene was done well. I mean,
Whatever.
think about it from Squall's point of
Whatever.
view. You've spent your life, or most of your life, since your perceived abandonment by a big sister figure.
You should get back to
you've
your
spent
seat.
most of your life just trying to stay away from people,
Just a little
basically.
longer.
And then something happens. Basically, puberty happens.
from
You
your
fall in
seat.
love. And
Gonna make it
what the hell are
right?
you supposed to do now?
He had puberty at age...
We can only hope.
He's 17.
He's 17, are you kidding me?
When we get back,
It's not that puberty
we'll
didn't
be able to
happen.
stay
I'm sort of being facetious on that.
Maybe.
point. It was also, you know, the fact that he was
No one can
traveling
predict the
with some
future.
people
There
who
are no
were like,
guarantees.
Hey, why don't you talk
Those
to
were
us
your words,
and
Rinoa.
tell us how you're feeling.
That's not what I meant.
So yeah, of course it's gonna. Of course,
We'll
it's
figure
gonna
out
be
what to do
awkward.
once we get back.
I have nothing to nitpick about that, actually, so... I'm
What?
definitely
The whole
something
behavior
super
at me.
obnoxious and pedantic about, but I can't think of anything.
Angry.
This is your
Hey.
station. Ragnarok, please respond.
This is the Ragnarok.
We have some questions for you. We're collecting escape pods. We have a good idea of what happened. I hear no one from your base is on Ragnarok.
Anyway, someone brought up a very interesting point. There's another version
Just
of
two.
the song sung by a Japanese singer named Angela Aqua.
Squall. I'm a CD from
Someone-
Balaam Garden.
and it's in a. It's obviously the same song,
Rinoa.
but it's sung in a very different
Noah, the
style.
sorceress? She's on the ship.
And someone
So it's
made
true.
a point that I really
Noah is
liked.
a
They
sorceress.
said that they considered the Fei Wong version to be Julia singing to Laguna, and the Angela Aki version to be Rinoa singing to Squall.
I don't want the future. I want the present to stand still. I want to stay here with you. Respond, Ragnarok! I didn't want to be around you anymore. The sorceress will be
Well,
seized
I mean,
upon arrival.
are
Be
you
sure to
familiar
follow
with
the
any of the
instructions.
X-Men?
I'm scared.
Well, of course, my point is, of course, they're going to be scared of
Squall,
Sorceress.
coffee. Is the sorceress
has a
listening
lot
too?
of power that other people do not have. And maybe you can't necessarily...
I don't want to go back.
Sorry, I just kind of interrupted you and I wasn't even thinking or anything, so just ignore me.
That's okay.
The point is, when you have someone who has a lot of power, then you tend not to trust that person. Because you don't know if they're going to use their powers for good or not so good purposes. That's sort of... that intro that I made up that Lightning and I did with the voiceovers on the overture kind of touched on that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, actually.
Oh.
I never saw, like, the intro, so I just kind of assumed that that was actually part of the intro or something, and you were just reading it off or whatever. But
No, I made that up. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
I don't know what to do.
Anyway,
Creepy music.
so yeah,
This is just
Rinoa
another
is
crossroad
a
in my
sorceress.
life. But for the first time, I don't know which way to go.
Squall is like, crap, I don't know what to do.
I've
is
come this
not
far
a
because I've
familiar feeling.
fallen for you.
this is not part of training.
You know what?
Sorcerer stuff's happened.
Actually, it is
Now
kind
am
of
I
part of
just
training.
supposed to let
They
you
did
go?
sort of sign off on all of this.
Do we sign off on the possibility that all this stuff could happen?
This is all just an extended part of your field training. Like, you know, once they left to whatever
Sorceress Rinoa,
training
I'm
outside, they
descendant.
said,
I get it, so they're pretending that the world's in danger. Yeah, we're just getting around that first.
This is the Kobayashi Maru.
Come with us. We must seal your
I
power for
think
the sake
Sid
of the
is
world.
sort of purposely keeping Squall in the dark for some of this.
Because why not?
Alright.
Well, Or maybe he's not purposely. Maybe he doesn't
Thank you for
know.
understanding. Tell us when you're ready.
Idea, I think, is the one who really knows what's going on.
Okay, so...
Of course, because she's a sorceress.
Well,
I should tell
it's
you
not
this
just
before
because
I
she's
go.
a sorceress, it's because she's a particular sorceress.
I
who
was possessed out in
became
space.
so
There was a
in a
sorceress
particular
inside
way.
me.
So, after all the time he went through to get Rinoa back...
Ultimisia, a sorceress from the future.
Yeah, basically.
She's trying to achieve time compression.
You can have her back, guys.
Okay,
She's the
just
only one
hold off
who
on
would
this
be able
because
to
this
exist
point
in such
will
a
be
world.
brought up.
She and no other.
I mean,
As
it
long
is
as I'm
is
free,
sort of.
she'll continue to use
If
me
you're
to
Squall
accomplish
and
her
you're
goal.
justifying this to yourself, you're saying, well, it was her decision.
We can't let that happen, right?
Not
I should
saying
go now.
that's a good way to do it, but that's probably what he's thinking.
You couldn't even put in a 2 cents on it, just like, oh, whatever.
I'm ready.
Well, he does sort of. I mean, I'm sure he's not
All right.
happy.
We'll be heading to the
But,
sorceress
does
memorial.
anyone else, like, besides Squall, see something, like, wrong with this plan?
And also, I mean, these people just show up. They're strangers. Who knows what they could be wanting with her? Hell, they might be lying.
Rinoa, don't go.
People can't lie.
Guns lie.
Thanks, Squall, but I have to go.
McFly.
No, it's like a Galaxy Quest. The people who'd never heard of a lie.
Oh, I still have your ring.
Nobody. Calls me chick. Keep it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Cheap.
Except not as cool chicken was in this game. So wait a minute.
For some reason, that never gets old.
Wait a minute, I just realized it's Cypher's McFly.
What?
It makes sense.
This is what Rinoa decided.
No. He's more
There's
Biff
nothing
than
we can do about
McFly.
it. Right?
Stupid me. Biff, he's Biff.
Big Squall.
McLeonhard.
It all makes sense now.
This is a sequel to Back to the Future. This is Back to the Future 4. It really.
So, Colin, this game is a sequel to both Xenosaga and Back to the Future.
Of course.
Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they made that mute movie in the future in Hollywood.
Well, they're sort of doing that with the games, actually, the Telltale games. They actually have, like, the writers of the movies on there, as well as the actors.
You know, I might try those games because I definitely like this Strong Bad's Cool Game for Attractive People, that series, and I definitely like Tales of Monkey Island.
How did you get here?
I've been playing.
Well,
Back to the Future
a lot of
recently.
things happened.
They did a great job on that.
I was unconscious for a while after the escape pod touched down.
So, we have good news here.
When I came to,
The
it
good
was
news
just me
here
and
being
Pyatt.
that Quistis survived.
Pyatt? Oh, the guy who escaped with us. What happened to Alone?
You know, I just
Clone
I have
wasn't
to
with
laugh
us
at
anymore.
the number of references
Not
to
only that,
very
there
minor
were
Star
signs of
Wars
struggle.
characters there
I
are
hope
in
she's
this
safe.
game. Like Nita and Pyatt and
The SR rescue crew
I
brought me
think
here.
weren't those like at the as part of the
The
parade
rescue
of
crew told
admirals
us
that
about the
Darth
ship
Vader
and that you were all
choked
safe.
to death in The Empire Strikes Back?
Yes.
I see.
But I find you like a face.
Squall,
Yes, that's him.
No, that was
when
in
you
episode
jumped out
4.
into
That
space,
line.
you didn't think about anything else, did you?
No, in episode 5, that was "You have failed me for the last
That's
time."
right.
Ah, that's...
I wonder if there's anyone who would do the same thing for me.
Well, if you want, if you talk about camp lines, George Lucas is the king
So
of
where's
those.
the princess that changed the ever-cautious Squall?
We'll turn this into...
Rinoa is...
It was so funny. Natalie Portman at one point was asked about the dialogue in what she thought about the dialogue in one of the Star Wars movies, and she said, "I'm taking the 5th."
She really said that.
Sup, Squall?
Yes, she said that.
So glad you're safe.
That's a sign.
I hate to tell you this now, but we got major problems down here.
Just for the money.